Namaskar and our heartfelt gratitude to everyone present. Today we shall explore an India that once was, that seriously and successfully questioned one of the myth that says an architect's dream is a civil engineer's nightmare. An era in our history blended these two distinct disciplines in such a way that made noted historians like A.L. Basham to pronounce the wonder that was India. Although ancient Indian architecture largely centered around temples, it definitely stretched its wings across forts, palaces, and likes. This mini documentary tries to cover those in a nutshell. If we travel back in time 4000 to 5000 years, when only a handful of civilizations existed in Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, ancient Indians established trades with them, built towns, forts, cities that successfully prospered and thrived for several millennia, and founded an industrial economy. It revolutionized building with the use of burnt bricks, cities with underground interconnected drainage patterns, and streets with grid patterns that cut each other in right angles throughout the cities that can seriously contend with modern city planning. Up next comes the soulful, soothing Buddhist stupas dating back to the Mauryan period. The Sanchi stupa at Bhopal and Dhamek stupa at Sarnath, built by Ashoka the Great, are associated with different phases of Buddha's life and symbolizes Buddhist teachings and Jataka stories. The Nalanda Mahavihar, built by Guptan Emperor Kumargupta, was a magnificent ancient seat of knowledge and education, alongside the great Taxila University in Peshawar province. We lost a great deal of this invaluable heritage to Bakhtiar Khilji's invasion. Human history is brimming with such lessons that teach us that zealots and bigots have no place for education and knowledge. They see this as a threat to their hegemony, and hence Indian government's recent push for the revival of Nalanda University is a laudable measure in that regard. Let's talk about India's national emblem, the Ashok Stambha. Built by Ashoka at Sarnath, it had an inverted lotus as the base, next the abacus in between, and apical figure of the lion at the very top. Next comes the one of its kind, Ajanta and Ellora. It is very hard to convince ourselves that these cave paintings, bright, shining illustrations, are literally thousands of years old and fusioned elements of Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism to represent harmony and embody religious tolerance. The monolithic rock-cut Kailash temple at Ellora is a true wonder of humanity. It was cut from top to bottom, leaving no room for any error, with tools as simple as a hammer and chisel. Artistic display no less than the rock city at Petra of Jordan. Before we dive deeper, look at a broad classification of temple architectural styles in India. The North Indian style is called Nagara. It had a smooth, curvy shikhara over the Garbhagriha and the Amalaka at the very top as its crown. South Indian Dravida style had a rectangular Bhimana over the Garbhagriha and a capstone at the crown. Style was a fusion of these two emerged in central India. Probably the Nagara style reached its zenith in Khajuraho. The craftsmanship on its wall is truly a masterpiece. Although largely based on Batsyan's Kam Sutra, it depicts various erotic sculptures and figures. It actually taught us how to strike a fine balance with different aspects of life. Saptashati, an anthology of erotic verses compiled by Satvahana king Hala also took inspiration from it. Style far south has a fascinating trident. In Brihadeswara temple at Thanjavur built by Rajaraja Chola I, Gangaikonda Cholapuram built by Rajendra Chol I, and Tarasuram built by Rajaraja Chol II. Temple walls of Brihadeshwara depicts various mudras and poses of Bharatnatyam that find its roots in Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni. Remember that special place where Prime Minister Modi for the first time hosted Chinese President Xi Jinping back in 2019. The sword temples at Mamallapuram or Mahabalipuram, built by the Pallava dynasty, reminds us about its maritime links with ancient China. The Kalinga style developed on the eastern coast had its own peculiarity. The Sun Temple at Konark was dedicated to Lord Shiva, built by Narasimhadev of the Eastern Ganga dynasty. It was in fact a time-keeping device using 12 pairs of lions drawing a chariot, the wheels of which used as a sundial and the spokes as a hand of a clock. Coming to forts, the Gwalior fort stands out among the rest. For building a gigantic fort on a hilltop is one thing, but to decorate it with paintings is another. The Elephanta Caves, some tens of kilometers off the coast of Mumbai, were built by the Kalachuri dynasty, and although it is primarily a Shiva temple, it incorporated elements of Buddhism and Jainism to symbolize harmony. Here we can see, for perspective, a tall, young European man standing in front of a sculpture at Elephanta. And no, it's not Egypt. It is worth mentioning here that the two lights of Asia, Buddha and Gandhi, were sons of this soil. Hence, different parts of India etched Buddha with its distinct styles. Mathura, Gandhara and Amravati school stemmed from this profound fabric of unity in diversity. Inch closer to 2047, when we will celebrate centenary of our independence. And hopefully we'll have built Viksit Bharat to acknowledge that the true genius behind all these masterpieces, all this heavenly creation of humanity, will remain anonymous and unknown, and yet their works will stand tall to testify that India can exert itself as a true Vishwaguru with collective willpower. Lastly, these two articles of our Constitution renders that message loud and clear to us and the world.